Hello, good afternoon, everybody. I have just started 2 minutes before time. We'll just telling some few words welcoming you. After 7, we'll be going to the proper webinar. So it is kind of initial in TV serials you watch that 1-2 minutes before, and from after 1-2 minutes advertisements comes. So here I am, as you know, Sheikh Jahiruddin sir in front of you. Very less time I usually comes live, show my face, but this is the first time I am here. We'll be mostly talking in English. Uh, Sometimes we speak Hindi, 1-2 times. So before I welcome you, I'll be telling a little bit about the webinar. The responses which we got, it's very, very, very large. It's beyond our expectations. 1600 बच्चे आसपास रजिस्टर किए हैं सेमिनार में. मैंने पहले सोचा था 200-300 बच्चे होंगे, ये हो गया 1600 के आसपास. अब देखते हैं कितने बच्चे यहाँ पे लाइव आते हैं. 200 के आसपास बच्चे अभी लाइव हैं. तो कहाँ से स्टूडेंट नहीं हैं? सब जगह से हैं. फ्रॉम गढ़वाल यूनिवर्सिटी टू अन्ना यूनिवर्सिटी चेन्नई, from Guwahati University, Assam to Banasthali University, Rajasthan, from IIT Madras to MDU Rohtak, from University of Calcutta to University of Bangalore. सब जगह से students हैं. Wish you a very, very, very warm welcome. From my side, the organizer, I am Sheikh Jahiruddin, who has passed Masters from IIT Bombay in 2011. So I am, say, in terms, say, 9 years senior from this current batch. Pritam.das, who has passed Masters just 1 year before in 2019, he will be delivering the speech. I am the host. So before I give handover to him, I would be talking to 5 minutes with you. Say, Pritam has qualified all the exams. He got ranked 8 in JEST, 25 in GATE, and 59 in CSIR NET. He's a brilliant student. He appeared interview in TIFR Mumbai, TIFR Hyderabad, RRI Bangalore, IIT Delhi, Guwahati, IISR Pune. Everywhere he got selected. तो जो लोग सब जगह में इंटरव्यू में सिलेक्ट हो रहे हैं, रिटर्न तो क्वालिफाई कर ही चुके हैं, उनमें तो कुछ होगा, उनमें कुछ है. तो ये बात मेरे दिमाग में बत्ती थोड़ा जलाया कि भाई उनको लाया जाए. जो बच्चा सारे के सारे इंटरव्यू क्रैक कर रहे हैं इतने, और IISc नैनो साइंस में भी इंटरव्यू क्रैक कर चुके हैं, तो बोलना मैं भूल गया. तो TIFR IISc, दोनों TIFR IISc, IITs, RRI. So I thought कि well, let's talk to him and request him to join every one of you to talk with you, that उसका जो भी एक्सपीरियंस होगा थोड़ा शेयर करें आपसे. तो अभी देखो 7 तो बज ही गए हैं और मैं ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं लूँगा. So 330, more than 330 people are there, I think, and the connection, everything, the webinar live is actually fine. I'm watching the connection also. So Pritam qualified every interview and qualified the written exams. So he will be sharing his experiences, his ideas with you. And he finally joined TIFR Mumbai So that is a information to you कि भाई वो ज्वाइन कहाँ किया है, इतनी जगह में क्वालिफाई कर चुके हैं तो TIFR मुंबई में वो ज्वाइन किए हैं। मैं भी एक साल TIFR मुंबई में था, बहुत दिन पहले की बात है, एक युग हो गया पूरा 2008 साल में। तो आफ्टर 12 years he is going to my previous institution, so I will be very happy to watch him over there. So let's transfer this to Pritam. I will be coming in between sometimes as a host, but I won't be that type of host who is always prominent there and the other in usual TV channels. Host को ही दिखते हैं, बाकी जो गेस्ट आते हैं उनको कम दिखते हैं, ऐसा नहीं होगा। आप प्रीतम को ही देखोगे, मुझे बहुत ही कम। शुरुआत में थोड़ा इंट्रोडक्शन कर दिया, तो ठीक है, चलिए अब हम मेरा व्यू से हम उनके व्यू में ट्रांसफर करते हैं। सो प्रीतम, बी रेडी, you will be live. Okay, over to Pritam.
So hi everyone.
One minute, still not now. Well, Pritam, you are live.
Okay, hi everyone, I'm Pritam, as I introduced me. So recently I have joined TIFR Mumbai, and so let's not talk about more about that thing. So what I want to focus on today's seminar is what is my experience in the written exams, and what is the tips basically for cracking the interviews. That is the most important thing, because much more of you can crack the written exams, but interview is much more important to crack. So I have made a presentation for you guys, so I want to go for it. So if sir allows me, I want to show it. Sir, hello.
Yeah.
Can I go for the presentation?
You start your presentation. I'm there monitoring.
Okay.
So students are asking to speak in English. I will be speaking in English. No issues. I started speaking in. I did not speak in Hindi properly. I just started. A few words I would be speaking in Hindi. 1-2 words which not be that much important. Well, that Pritam, whatever is important for you, that will be delivered by Pritam. That will be totally in English. Don't worry about that. So in between, sometimes which not is that much important, that I sometimes may speak in Hindi. So well, Pritam, over to Pritam.
Yes, sir. So right now, you guys can see the presentation. So what is the basic tips for theory exams? Most of people will think as it is the international exams like GATE, JEST and NET, it should be very much tough, but it's not like that. If you study well, if you have the concepts in physics, then it's much more easier for you. So that is the basic thing I recognized in between these days. If you have the concept, if you have the thing, how can you approach toward the question, it is important. Basically, I have studied well in my BSc and MSc days. That helped me a lot. Then the BSc and MSc, you got 5 years time to go through different kind of books, and can raise your concept more. That is the basic time of yours. And basically for cracking the theory exams, I don't follow much coaching notes or some specialized preparation like people are looking for the preparations and some ready-made notes so that they can get selected or they can crack that theory exams. But I think it will not help you much, according to my point of view. You should have the concept. You should read the book. You should read the book word by word. Otherwise, I think it's difficult to understand physics, to visualize physics, and it's very important. So basic thing you need to do is read the book and discuss with your friends, with your guide, your teacher. It's important. You may find something not you cannot cope up with that thing, but discuss with your friends, discuss with your teachers. It's important is discussion. It can give you more knowledge. It can give you more superior uh, description to that
Pritam,
concept.
speak slowly, slowly. Just when you are speaking something, you keep a little bit gap in between words. That should
Okay,
be better.
okay, sir. Thank you. And so I revise basically in these days. I have completed, as I said, I have completed my MSc in 2019, but I cracked all the exams in 2020. So in between these days, what I did is to revise the books. How much I can do is to is to went through the book again, and the concept I thought it will less for me. So I revised that lesson and I revised those topics again. I did problems from that exercise. So I did those things basically. Except those things, you need to focus what kind of questions are asked to you in the exams like NET, GATE, and JEST. So you need to know how to solve those questions, and you need to do it by yourself. The question you can get from anywhere, from net, from anywhere. So you need to solve those questions by yourself. Because what some people do actually, they just go for the written thing and the answered thing, and they go through the answered.
Pritam, students are saying there is a problem in your sound. So, do you have a different microphone? I don't. When we talked yesterday, that time the
Yes,
sound was clearly audible, but still from my side also the sound is not that much clear from you.
so can you hear it? Even we were talking.
Yesterday, when we was talking over Google Meet, that time the audio was very clear from your side. But today somehow the audio is not that much audible from your side. It is somehow it's breaking. So that is not a non-network problem. It might be a network problem. From you just check your speed, internet speed right now from speedtest.in. That I will unpin. That is not a issue. Students, please wait for 1-2 minutes. Let's see
So hello,
what can we do. Yeah, we are listening to you.
can you listen to me properly right now?
No, 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 no. We are hearing, but it is not that much clear. So what you can do is, your presentation is not, your screen is not visible right now. Right now I am visible. So you do your speed test right now. How much is your current speed? That is need to be checked first. Internet speed. Then the microphone might be not working that much level what it was working yesterday. So just wait. And network one other side I will check. Yeah, but students, I know my sound is clear. Is my sound is clear?
Hello.
If both sound is not clear, then that is a different issue. But is my sound clear? You can type in the chat box. I can see your replies. If my audio is clear, then that is a different issue. And if my sound is also that not that much clear, then it is a different thing.
It's fine, sir. The net is fine. It's 50 Mbps fine.
Well, everybody is saying my sound is clear. Well, would it be better, Pritam, that I know what you'll be telling? So, your presentation should be visible and I will utter your words. And sometimes, if you don't agree, you can tell something.
Okay, okay. That can be.
Yeah, fixing the audio. Dear students, well, don't you need to everybody? Well, yes. Well, fine. You don't need to that much. I got your replies. I got your replies.
So can you hear me now, sir?
Pritam, I'll be speaking. Better, I will be speaking. Your presentation, I'll be speaking.
Okay. Can you see my presentation right now?
Well, just a minute. What is your internet speed, Pritam?
50 around, 50
So
Mbps.
that is
Showing.
not a issue for your side. I try to. You changed your microphone.
Yes, sir. I have changed my microphone. So can you listen to me right now? Is there any problem?
So is you please continue. Sometimes I would be if your voice is not clear, I will be there to help. No
Yeah.
issues.
Please
So
ask them to.
yeah, so basically what he wanted to tell us is that he passed masters in 2019, cracked exam in 2020. There was a 6 to 8 months gap, and in between what he did is uh, he studied the basic concepts from the basic books. Well, whatever written in the presentation, that's the cracks is you don't need to run from one coaching center to other coaching center. You don't need to run from one notes to another notes. You need to study the basics books. He will be telling in the next slide. So Pritam, go to the next slide, please. So that the cracks.
So can I speak now?
Yeah, sure. Good.
So these are the books, guys. I have read in my base and MSCs. So for classical mechanics, Goldstein is a kind of book from God. So you should read this book and solve those problems mainly. How much you can solve, please do, because it will help you.
Students,
From
you
for
don't need to hurry or you don't need to take snapshots. These slides will be given to you. You will email to everybody who have registered. So you don't need to hurry, run for a pen and paper and writing the book's name. Don't worry.
yeah,
If
sir, I will
somebody
do
is
that.
asking in between, students, please check the book's name. Somebody is asking, is there any much difference in the preparation of TIFR and JEST? Is there much
No,
difference?
no, sir. I haven't done some different. Nothing. I have just gone through the books, so did the solve the questions from different years of jest, net and get. And I think if your concept is clear in physics, if your ideas are fine, then it's not a big deal to crack those exams. Even I was thinking how to crack because I was also appearing for the first time. So I was also very much tensed about it. But it's nothing like that. If your concepts are clear, if you know how to deal with that problem, how to approach that problem, so it's fine. It's fine. Nothing different than that.
So
So
actually, you see, you don't need to think about the differences between exam and differences between the labels of the exam. What Pritam told is actually you start to build up the concepts, then you will be cracking the exams. You remember the Rancho's word in Three Idiots that if you have
exactly.
good concept, beta काबिल बनो, कामयाबी आ जाएगा. So if you have a good concepts there, then I don't think there will be much problem. So how to build the concept? That was Pritam was saying ki, well, you need to read the basic books. Goldstein, Kleppner, Griffiths,
Kleppner
Jackson,
and
Sakurai. Pritam, which book you have solved the problems? Every books you have solved exercise? I don't think so. You could have one anybody
no, no,
could
no,
solve the
no.
Jackson exercise.
No,
So
sir. Basically, for the EMT, you should solve Griffiths, but Jackson's some of the problems I have solved in my MSCs, not the whole book, because I think no one can solve it because the whole book the exercise. But Griffiths you should solve, and for the classical meanings, as I said, Holstein, some of the problems are very hard. So you just try it. If you solve it, then it's fine. If you can't, then don't be like I couldn't solve the things. Don't be like that. इतना मतलब ज्यादा टफ भी एग्जाम में नहीं आएगा. But basic concept, but the basic knowledge you should have in physics. Otherwise, cracking this exam difficult. Otherwise, it's difficult. But if you have the basic concept, the basic knowledge, if you have studied well in BSc days, it is helping you a lot. It is helping you a lot. For the
People
quantum mechanics,
don't laugh about Jackson. Jackson is the all the most standard and the best book of EMT, and it is little bit standard high. And he expects you should have basic undergraduate knowledge of electromagnetic theory, which you don't have. Then you start reading Jackson, then you don't understand. So that is not a problem of Jackson.
exactly. First, if you are doing Jackson, then it's very difficult, and but first go through Griffiths.
Well, we'll be just we have you have seen the book's name, so we'll be moving to the whatever book. So he did exercises from Griffiths, not Jackson,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Patria. Pritam, not all exercises of Patria you could have done, right?
No, 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 no. Basically, the basic things, basic concepts, for clearing the concept, you need to solve problems. Like if you don't know the concept, then you can't solve the problems. So
Okay,
first,
okay,
go
okay,
to the,
okay. Got it, got it. Okay, Pritam. Next. Okay, these
so
books
for the math,
people have already know. So
the mathematical physics, it's Boas, and you can go through also Relay Hobson Benz and Arfkin. It's two are very difficult to solve, but Boas is nice one. You can solve it. You can have the concept. And for the solid state physics, I would definitely say ki you should read the Kittel word by word, like you read your Bible and Gita. So it's a main book for solid state physics. And Ashraf Marwan is the one I have went through when I was in MSc. So it is also a good, I would definitely say. For atomic molecular, you have one book, Branson and Juvachin. It's important one. Nuclear physics, Crane, and electronics, Malvino. It's the kind of best books and the easiest one I have said. But Goldstein and Jackson is tough. Sakura is tough. But do the basic one first and then go for the higher difficult one. And first, you don't need to hurry up for the Sakurai or Jackson or Goldstein. First, do problems from the some basic books, some books which is easier than this one. So go for that first. I will suggest. So after that, I want to go to the next slide.
okay, okay.
So I have talked about the how to crack the theory exams, what kind of books we should follow, and how should you prepare for the theory exams. So theory exams, most of you can crack the theory exams, but when person gets stuck where it's the interview. So when I was giving the interview for the first time, I was also very nervous. What will they ask and how the interview will be going. So what I recognize and what I find out is that they only try to see or try to find out if you have the concept of physics or not. It is the basic thing, and and they will ask only the basic questions. Even you can some of my friends, and even you can be asked what is Newton's law and how many Newton's laws there in our physics. So these kind of questions also may they ask. You don't need to think that they will ask only the toughest question and I can't solve it. I also thought like that as I was in your position, but after I have gone through it, I just come across ki you will be asked only from the basic concepts, basic questions, but you need to answer them properly. And if you find something, some question is difficult, then you just ask for hints. They will give you hints and they will help you throughout the interview so that your interview can go well and you can't get nervous if you can't answer one question. So second thing I will suggest, you don't think much how many questions you can answer. That is not the important thing, how many questions you can answer. The important thing is that how you can approach a question when that is totally unknown to you. Unknown, I mean to say that you have the concept, you have the basic concept, but the question you are finding for the first time. Because from my experience, I can say the many of the interviews like TIFR, like IISC, like RRI, the questions are easy from the basic, but some questions are very new to me, and I have not seen those kind of questions. So that is very important. You need to have the basic idea of physics, and the board will see how you approach the question. As I said, that is important. How can you approach the question? So if you, let's say, if you have some, if you wrote knowledge, I mean to say that if you just mugged up things and just crammed every book and every word, then you are not will be not going to be selected, because they want to see how can you approach a different problem, a different one, with your same basic concept. So that is important. So I have always started from the scratch and I tried to answer the question. If that goes well, then it's fine. If it is not in the proper way that the interviewer are seeking the answer, then they will give you hints and try to follow up those hints very wisely. I will say very wisely, because if they are giving you some hints, it's very important to co up with their hints, because they want to see that thing also. All they want the concepts you have or not. So in my next slide, I'll be discussing some examples and some questions I was asked in my interview, so that you can grab a basic idea of what kind of questions are that. And you will definitely see it is very easy kind of questions, not tough. So I'm going to my next slide.
Okay.
So now I'll be showing some graphs, basic graphs. You may ask these questions anywhere. So as you can see, the first plot, you need to know how to plot the graph. It's not about hello.
Yeah, you are audible, Pritam.
Okay, I'm audible, and that's the thinking key.
Why? Oh, you continue. If there is some problem, I will be telling you.
Okay, thank you, sir. So I'm not hearing from anything from you, so I'm just
No,
talking.
no, I
No, not.
muted my microphone. I muted my microphone.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So I'll be showing some basic graphs that you may ask in your question, in your interviews, basically, because graph plotting is very much important. Anyone should know how to plot graphs. So they will be asking some difficult graphs, and I was asked in my interviews. So first, if you can plot the graph, then you should know how you are plotting. You should know in what limit the graph should blow up, in what limit the graph should be zero, or whatever the value is. You should know that thing very well, because they can ask you to show them plotting the even doing the calculation of the limits कि चलो चलो बेटा इस लिमिट में आप ये दिखा दो करके. So then they can ask you that thing. So these are some basic graphs I have showed कि this can come in your interviews. So and then after the graph, what they want to know from you, what you have done in your MSc project, you have done it or not, and if you have done, then they want to know about your project. They ask you some questions from that. You should know the thing what you have done in your experiment, if you are an experimentalist, and the working principles of basic instruments you are using for that experiment. So you need to know these things at least. But if you are doing that experiment, I think you should know everything about that experiment, because you are doing it by yourself. So, and why did you do that experiment? What is the thing, or what is the result you are expecting from that experiment? Because in your case, you will be, if you are going in an experimental zone, you will be seeing that thing. There will be much more cases of failure than you are getting a successive result and resulting for success. So what I what I try to say is you should know what experiment you are doing, the basic principles, the parameter that is affecting the results. Result you are expecting something, and the result you are getting is something different. Then you should find out. You only have to find out what is the problem was there, what is the thing that can be treated well so that my result come well. So these are the basic things for if you are doing an experiment. And lastly, they can ask you what you did you achieve in your experiment or not. But they seek for the thing what you gained from the experiment, what kind of knowledge, what kind of basic idea you have for that experiment, you understood or not. Then they may ask you, they will ask you different questions from that, because I was asked severally in every interviews from my experiment I have done in my MSc. So that is the thing I will say. I added a footnote. So you should read, if you are in condensed matter physics as in, so you should read Kittel at least up to chapter 16 in 8th edition. So you should read. And then I'll say, if you are in theoretical background, you will be doing some theory and computation. You are not expected that you will be telling the different kind of difficult calculations of GTR, quantum gravity, or string theory stuffs like that, or kind of different difficult questions from the, you may solve different difficult questions from the tensor and all. They will not ask you those things. So they will just ask some basic thing, basic concept, and basic questions. So at least you know the basic principles you have written in your report, that is, and that you must understand. As that all of many people write reports from anywhere else when they don't understand what they are doing. If you are doing that, then it may be problematic for your interviews, because if you are writing some report, if you are doing some experiment, or if you are writing some theory thing also, so you should understand that thing well. So for example, if you have done something in theoretical condensed matter, then at least you should know what is the basic quantity of second quantization and Hartree-Fock wave function. These are very basic one for the person who is joining for PhD. He should know this thing at least. And similarly, some computation of basic concepts they may ask you. They may ask you some what kind of programming language you know, and some basic questions from that. They will not say anything bigger than this, as much as I understood from the interview concepts, interview clearing this much interviews. So right now you can see the interview I have given in RRI. You can see there are so many easy questions, and you can say the easiest one. I have asked the easiest one in my interview for RRI. So plot x and sine plus sine x. So it's not there thinking thinking you can plot it like solving, putting the point to point and putting and joining the points, and you are getting a curve. It's not like that. It's like, how can you superimpose the x with the sine x? How it will modulate? How it will show the thing? You can go up with that thing or not? You have that much knowledge or not? Because anyone can just go through can plot it point by point. You can say anyone can do it if you are a student. Then, but they want to see how you are plotting that thing, how you can visualize that thing. Just seeing it. They will ask you at the very beginning, just seeing it, what you can say, in what way you are approaching the question is very important. You may not approach the question. Even I couldn't at very first couldn't approach the question, but they are saying in what way of thinking you have, and they will ask you, it's a way of correct thinking or not, if you are suggesting something. So don't worry about that much. And they asked me to plot the black body radiation graph for different temperatures. This is the thing everyone have read in their BSc levels and in very first year actually. So then the trick question they asked, suppose you are given a radiation plot of your body, how can you determine the temperature of your body from that plot? And at first I was also confused, what will the answer. So then I recognized from the graph, lambda t is a constant, lambda max t, not lambda t, lambda max t is a constant. So from that curve, if from the given plot I am getting the lambda max, so I know the constant, so I'm getting my temperature of my body. So that way, that's the thinking, that's the basic idea you should have at least. And they asked me to plot the trajectories for the particle. If it goes to minus k, you know this is a function for simple harmonic motion. So how will be the phase trajectories? Everyone knows. And what is the condition for bead is circular? So you just need to equal the coefficient of p square and x square. So both will be equal, then it will be circular. So not a difficult one. And some basic things from optics, both have several same focal length, then how will be the where will the image forming, and if you twist or the change the position of the lens, then how will it will be interacting, how the rays will be going. So this is some basic concepts. And let's go to the TIFR Hyderabad, and they asked me to plot a very interesting curve, that is y equals to x ln x. Because if you plot the ln x alone, then it will be showing a different one, then x is also a different curve. So how, if we merge both two, then how will it will look? At the very beginning, I was literally confused what to do, what not to do. So they don't get uh, इतना मतलब डरने की भी जरूरत नहीं है, I will say. They will, then they asked me to do the calculations of ln x at x tends to 0, x tends to infinity, and x tends to 1, and plot it. So I could, then I could easily do it. Then frankly speaking, then that is the only hint they gave me. So just calculate it and just try to do it, and you know the ln will be going as this in this zone. So just plot it. So I could easily do it. And then they asked me to plot the y equals to x in the same graph, and see where the graph intersects. So that is the thing, because it is the important graph, because when L y equals to x ln x and y equals to x intersects twice, at x equals to 0, at x equals to e, as the basis e for the ln x. So this is the basic concept. And then they ask something from the classical harmonic oscillator, classical mechanics. They just say ki plot the v versus x, and let's take an energy E and draw the turning points. So that is the basic thing. I think you guys understood those things well. And they just asked to phase diagram for that thing, and you all can do it. And the most interesting question they asked me, now you can see the Pauli matrices operators. It was given to me. They take this, and the definitions are given to me. Just calculate these things. They wanted to see me, I can habituate with this Pauli's matrix, I can deal with this Paulic matrix or not. So it's important you should know the commutation relations for the Pauli's matrices, and you need to know the calculations in your MSc. You should done those calculations for these algebras and all. So these are very basic questions, and basically this question I think I was asked because I have said them, yeah, I'm interested in condensed matter and the ferromagnetic one. So this is kind of thing appears in the ferromagnetic and the antiferromagnetic one, for flipping up the spins from up to down or down to up. These are the things, basic properties or basic thing you need to understand for those kind of solving those problems. And then you can see only 3 questions were asked in my interview. So I was lucky enough, not much questions, but I selected in there. But TIFR Mumbai, first they asked me about, they have given me the voltage source and ammeter, and a resistance, unknown resistance, and the source. So how will you measure the unknown resistance with these given apparatus? So everyone knows it's from the, I think, even in 9th and 10th standard, you should know the ammeter in series with the resistance and voltmeter in parallel, and you should measure the resistance by lugging a current in the circuit, and these are fine, I think, actually. But what they asked then, while connecting the voltmeter and ammeter in the circuit, you are it's not the ideal case. Previously it was the ideal case. So the whereas I was connecting the voltmeter in my circuit, everything was ideal. So it have 0 resistance. It was ideally. But if you have some resistance, the voltmeter and the ammeter offers you some resistance while connecting through the wire. Basically the wire have some resistance, not the voltmeter ammeter. It is ideal, but the where you are connecting it through with the circuit, in the circuit, that have some resistance, offers you some resistance. So how will the measurement of that resistance that is given to you will change it different from that one or not? Will change something, will show you different thing or not? So that was a basic question was asked. Basically it will not affect, I am giving you the answer right now. So basically it will not affect, but as the voltmeter is ideal one and the ammeter is ideal one, as you are passing a current through the circuit, the current value for this resistance may change, but it will not give you the wrong voltage in the resistance across the resistance you are attaching the voltmeter. So that is not that gonna be not going to be changed. As you know, even for ideal voltmeter, that resistance offers its infinity kind of, so it's large. So and you are attaching the resistance, you are measuring in parallel, so it will take very less amount of current and it will not showing you any differences. So that is the thing. And then I was asked, you were doing a Young double slit experiment in for a single hole. So how will that thing in be the y direction and the yz plane? So you will be if there is a single hole, you will be getting some circular rings, central maxima, then minima, then maxima, then minima, like this one, following the Huygens principle. And then they asked, like the same thing you are seeing here, the source, the circular, two circular holes are there situated, and then how will the pattern will look like? Will they be same like the previous one? And if not, then how it is different from that one? So this, I think you can get any book in optics, so you can go through it. I'll not discuss much about it. Then they asked a question from the statistical mechanics. So you were given states, some states like 0, kt, 2 kt, 3 kt, 4 kt, and all. K is the Boltzmann constant here, and it's up to infinity. So what, after finding a question in statistical mechanics, what a student can think, and as you can see, this is the discrete one, so you know how to write the partition function. So first write the partition function for these sets of states, and or you can say the system, and then what will be the population for each state, so that you can answer easily. Then they are asking it will be temperature dependent or not. So you can solve it, you can just go for one step and you can see it will be temperature dependent or not. You can do it your own. And then they ask me to do the total energy, and total energy in this case, it is just the population index into the energy of the given state. Let's say you are in ith state, then you know the population of the ith state, the population of the particles, then you just multiply both the population of the ith state and the energy of the ith state, and just sum over the thing, then you will getting the total energy of that system. Then they're asking it will be temperature dependent or not. The same some questions, you can see that expression it was temperature dependent or not, then you can say them. Then how that, then they ask you how n will be depending on E, the total number of particles in that system will be depending on E. So you can go through that thing. Then they asked me to plot the exponential of plus minus 1 by x in the same graph. So firstly I couldn't approach the thing, so because I'm very well, basically if first I couldn't approach the thing, so they just give me hand kit, do this kind of limits, then you can have a basic idea of thing. Then just plot the also minus 1, also the same graph. So you will see it will be a very beautiful graph after plotting, and it was the first time I have plotted, and it was really a beautiful one. So you can ask these kind of questions in TIFR Mumbai. And also a question from the quantum mechanics, and I'm basically interested in quantum mechanics, as I said in my interview. So they asked me a question from quantum mechanics. Firstly they have given me to a simple infinite potential level. You all know the solutions, we all know the energy states, what will be the energy states and the thing. So they then after that question answer, they just give me this kind of pictures. You have this, you have this kind of, so what will be, how will the energy states and how the wave function, basically they are the wave function, how the wave function will look like in this state. And for the given two energies, you will be giving E1, let's say, and another energy is E2. So in these two energy level, so how the wave function will look like. So what is the basic idea is that when the potential energy is low, then that is there is the most number of that is the probability maximum that you can get the particle over there. So as from the left picture, you know there will be a sine kind of thing, sine wave for the first one. So it also be sine when the potential is 0 for the second one. But how will it change when it come across the potential for the, let's say if the potential is V0, the I have forgotten to mention it. Let's say break is in the potential V0 and E0 is less than V0 and E1 is greater than V0. So as you can see how the thing will change, the wave function will change when you are entering the region when E0 is less than V0. So you need to think how that will change, how that thing will change, how that it will be different. But the one thing you should notice that psi is continuous. The basic concept of quantum mechanics, when you start doing it, you should know at least the psi is continuous. D psi dx should be continuous. So there shouldn't be any kind of kink when the boundary across, and the boundaries also should, in the boundary they should also be continuous. And in between the place minus a to plus a, when the potential is 0, it will be kind of a sine wave, as you have solved for the case 1, we all know. And but when even when the energy you are given is less than the potential and is less than the, let's say, the V0, as I mentioned V0, where is V0, then it will be kind of e to the power minus kx. It will be kind of a decaying thing. You know that thing, you have that, you have that knowledge. It will be a decaying thing. So in between minus a to a, it will be a sine kind of upper, as it's 0 and same as the left one. And then from a to b and minus a to minus b, it will be kind of decaying things, and both are continuous. So when both are continuous, I think you that understood that thing, my words. And but when it shouldn't cross the minus b and plus b, because there is an infinite potential bar. So the particle shouldn't enter that region. So you need to think wisely. It should end up within the plus minus b actually. So that's what they asked for the E1. Now you have a greater energy, then what kind of thing will be there? There will be a kind of sign up, because if there is infinite potential, then there will be not any tunneling through or any passing through the for that. There is no probability, so that will be 0 at the boundary, and then kind of sign up when it will be same, almost kind of same, or you can say the same graphically for the case for the left one. So these are the questions asked, was asked in my TIFR interviews, and it goes well, so that I am selected. And now I will just I want to give you some basic concept or basic idea what they basically ask questions. They ask questions from you. If you are a condensed matter background, because I was a condensed matter, I have said them, I want to go in the experimental condensed matter physics. So that kind of questions were asked, and they asked me from the superconductivity and chronic Penny model. You should know, you should answer it properly. The Bloch theorem I mentioned, forgot to mention the Bloch theorem. You should know, because Bloch theorem is the question. It was asked in every interviews, I can say. You should know Bloch theorem and the direct indirect band gap, and how you can charge up the things from direct to indirect band gap. And basically excitation, it's not charge up, it's excitation. So it's the excitation. So how you can excite the thing from direct in case of direct band gap, in case of indirect band gap. So it's an important question. And then Fermi energy level, what is Fermi energy level, and Fermi energy. These are the basic questions we should answer. And the effective mass, and how it is different from the inertial mass or the exact mass. Why the concept of effective mass is coming in the condensed matter physics. That is important. That concept you should have. What is the effective mass? What is the concept for the effective mass? Because then you should approach the question in that way. It's not fine if you are saying that this is the definition of effective mass. I have read in that book. If you are saying this, then trust me, you'll be gone soon, and they will not give you any marks for the interview. They can give you negative marks if you are saying a direct definition for anything. So you need to think. You should let them know how much you know the basics, how much you know the concepts. This is the basic funda of cracking any kind of interviews. They are not seeking, as I mentioned before, try to be like Rancho, not like Chatur. So that is the funny part. So, and also they will ask you to plot the susceptibility with temperature, the magnetic field versus the magnetization graphs and all. So this kind of basic graphs they will ask you to plot. And if plotting is not fine, exactly plotting and explaining those graphs, why the graphs is behaving like that, and you should know these things, the mathematical functions for the graph, and also the basic thing what is happening in the inside the basic concept, basic material. So that is important. You should explain those graphs actually. So that is they want to see. Other than this, they these kind of basically questions were asked in my interviews. And other than this, there is nothing to say. So at last, I want to thank Jahir sir, and I want to hand
Pritam,
over to him. Anything is remaining,
Pritam,
then
we'll address some question answer. You don't right now thank, and we'll. I have
okay,
seen the
okay, okay,
questions. I will ask you to discuss one two things a little bit. Then we will
okay.
thank, and then we will finally end. So
That's why I asked
so
you.
yeah. So first, Pritam, students were asking, and I feel that this is little bit need to be discussed, that what is the importance of solving the previous year's question. You go to your any basic slide initially. The first
Okay,
slide we have discussed for the theory questions. Well, here
yeah.
is that you solved the previous year's problems for CSIR NET, GATE, and JEST. That is the one and only special preparation. If I say that this is the special preparation you got after the you passed masters, you did revise the basic concepts, basic books, basic your masters notes, then you solve problems in previous years. Did you solve all the problems in NET, GATE, and JEST? Every problems or some selected problems?
No, I tried to solve every problems because that you can understand what is the mind of the question setter. So basically, going through every problems, you can have different tastes and different ideas of problems, different questions you can get. So try to solve, go through different and all the problems. I would say generally you should go through all the problems. May you not can solve, even I couldn't solve all the problems, so I seek help from my friends, from my uh, previous teachers and all. So please go through it, how much you can go through, it will be help benefiting to you only. Because if you have the you let's say you think you have the concept, but you can only understand while the you are solving something. If you can solve something, then one can say, okay, you have the concept so that you can solve that question. If you don't solve it, then you should understand maybe some concepts are lacking. So I should go through go through that thing again. So that's the basic thing. And one thing, you should go through all the previous year questions uh, at least. But it is not the enough, I would say. It is not the enough. You should have the basic concept. You should solve some problems from the books as well, because they may ask you different questions. Let's say like 10%, 15%, 10% to 15% question may ask you from the this previous year questions, but they will not ask the whole 100%. So you need to have some basic ideas, basic knowledge for the physics. So that is important, I would say.
भाई
Hello.
अरे प्रीतम चुप करना वो Pritam, no problem. If you don't hear from me, don't worry. I'm muting my microphone. So you are there. You will be there until and unless you hear something from me. You are here. So just one thing I would just I need to add here just that the
Okay.
paper setters do not change so easily. Say, do you know the one term is niche? Say in India, say 100, 150 people's professors who usually made questions. So there are not infinite number of professors are there. So if you ask solve the previous year question, you will understand the psychology, that what they want from you, what they need from you, what they expect from you. That's why I always tell that please solve the previous year paper, don't just mug up, you just understand properly. Well, the one most important
That is the
question you
one.
need to address, Pritam. Next is one more important question you need to address.
Yeah, yeah,
People were
yeah.
asking that you are from IIT Kanpur, so you got a very good exposure in your study, masters. So most of the students, they were asking the question that we are not from that much important background, that much glorious background they have. So they do not get that much good exposure like you. They did not get that much good professors like you. They did not read that much good books like you. They did not have that much good class notes like you. So what about them? So how they will prepare by themselves? You can think that you can understand that they don't
Yeah,
know
yeah, I
much.
can understand.
They Pritam, just speak when I will just over. I will say over to Pritam. Then you start
Okay,
speaking.
okay.
So what issue is, I have seen the many students passed masters without much knowledge. So that is not their fault. That is the fault of their exposure and their system and their guides. So how, what they should do, you think about from their perspective. So over to Pita.
So I will say ki it's important from a good, you should have a good background, but it is not a much thing ki otherwise you will not get much exposure, because most of the books you know, and as you can as I have said, as is in the slide, so these are some basic books we all know. If you are in a physics uh, tiny, you should know about these books, you should know. So these are the basic things, and one thing you should do is self study. That is the much more important thing, because then let's say you are under some teachers, or you are under some institute that is giving you tuitions for 100 students, but some of the students, may you can say two or three, can get a chance in a good place, because they self study is that the self study is very much important. How you are cope with that thing, how you are using, or how you are doing that thing, that is important. That your self study is much more important, as is much more important, I would definitely say. And don't think much ki I'll be getting selected in good places like TIFR or RRI or whatever, IISC. It is if you are cracking the interview, that means you have some basic knowledge or good concepts. So that is important. Not they are not seeing you in which background you are in. You are from IIT or not. You are from normal, not any institutes like universities or something like that. It is not important. It is not the important thing. Basically, they are seeking ki you have knowledge or not. You have the basic knowledge or not. That is important. That basically they look for. And as I have showed you in my slides some questions from my interview, uh, you most of the questions you are familiar with, because they are, you have already gone through in your BScs or MScs. That is that type of question will be asked. You will not be asked something very hard or very difficult. Will not be, it will be not like that. So what I will suggest is to, I have mentioned some books. I think you already have in your laptop, or you will have in your list key. I have these books. So go through those books properly. And what is important, try to solve the problems. Every book you have some will have some exercise. To try to solve the exercises well, and that is most important. And you only can read up things, so you just go for self study. It is the most important, most vital thing. And if for your, even for your PhD career, because at that phase there will be a guide, but it is
Pritam,
difficult.
I don't think that you properly understood the question and understood the thing what they were asking. I got the point. What I would say is, if you don't have much knowledge right now, if you feel, so just go back and start from very basic. Say you understood that you don't have knowledge, then you don't expect that within 6 months or 1 year you can crack all the exams. Say this is the test which tests your knowledge from your higher secondary to masters. So 7 years of knowledge it is tested in CSIR NET. So if you feel that because of our fault in our present system you did not have much knowledge, so you should start from very basic. And many people are asking that is there any alternative Indian author books. uh, truly speaking, there are very good Indian author books but they are in very few subjects. So if you fear about the foreign books, you cannot have Indian author good book and all subjects. If you ask me, I will mail everyone the whatever good Indian author books I feel that they have. I will mail everybody registered, so that is not an issue. So so that is the answer in one line would be that you need time then. If you do not have knowledge, you need little bit of time. You just be patient that, well, I need 2 3 years. But start from the very beginning, then from very basics, and simultaneously you practice previous year questions also. Like it will be not there that you are studying very HS level, basic level, you start from HC Verma and you are solving HC Verma, well, fine. You practice some problem and practice some previous year questions also. Not only net get JEST, you start practice previous year's jam questions also. Together it needs time. There is no shortcut. We cannot tell you that, say, this 500 pages by the or that notes you take and that's mug up. That is not a solution. So background does not matter much. I have seen many people from very farthest corner of the country, very say low standard, suppose so called not high standard of institution, they are in very good institutes like TIFR and IISC, and they became successful in their career later in very beautiful ways. So my friends I have seen, they are coming from farthest corner of Uttarakhand to farthest corner of Karnataka, the farthest corner of Assam or something in deep interior of Madhya Pradesh. I have seen many students from many rural backgrounds. They usually come and who greatly study, then they qualify in great places. There are many IISc, TIFR and IIT professors who have done their BSc and MSc from not so-called higher institution. They gone in a simple college and simple universities, but later they qualified. So that have confidence on it. That is not a problem. So that two question I think we addressed. There are or many more questions. So Pritam, the next question
Yes.
would be many students are asking about that graph exercise. What they should do for the graphs? Should they how they should have preparation in solving the graphs? Should we make a different session? Should we make a different letter session only specialized for graphs, or you can tell few words here? Over, Pritam.
For the graphs, I would say there are normally you have idea for basic geometry from your basic 11 or 12, so you can know how the thing can look like. For the basic one, I'm saying from the basic graphs. But for the difficult graphs, I would suggest there are so many YouTube videos, you can go through it if you want to, and that is the thing. Actually, I have done something like this because all when at the beginning I don't have much idea about the graphs, except I have covered in the basis like this graph looks like this and and how the thing. But after watching some YouTube videos and like that, everyone has the internet connectivity, everyone can do that. So that the thing I would suggest, and go through some books. There are some good books also for the graph plotting and all, how to plot graphs. And other than books, you can follow net. That is important. There is net, so you can use.
Pritam, if you told that there are good books, you will kindly send me the names and I will email the students who registered. So that
Okay,
students
okay,
started asking, sir, which book, which book, which book? Okay, it will be
okay,
mailed.
okay,
No issues. Over,
okay.
Pritam.
So that is the only basic thing for graphs, I would say. And you should, for plotting a graph, as I said, you should know the limits. So you should know how the limit can be should be done, or how can calculation for the limiting cases should be done. So that is from the basic 11 and 12. So so go back and do calculation for the limits one, because only that thing, at least in the interview, that will help you. At least if I don't know the graph, don't worry, do the limit calculation, and let's say then it will, if you can see it will is infinity at that point and it is zero at that point, then it will be something looking like this. At least you can have the idea. Then further as you proceed for the question, as you proceed for the particular graph, then you will get some good idea, because they are not for the interview, they are not seeking the exact graph, the exact it will be looking like this, but somehow it will be looking like this. You, if you are not even plotted the exactly thing, then ask them ki it is like this, ki it will be here in this zone, it will be negative or positive or whatever. And if maybe, let's say if the graph is symmetric, then say, then you, while drawing it, it may be not symmetric, let's say, then you should say them ki it is symmetric, but while drawing I'm doing this. But it is not that much pressurized, I don't think so. If you are seeing some graphs, some YouTube videos, some net, then it's fine, I think. It will, don't fear for the graph. At least it is the easiest one, I would say.
Pritam, one more thing, two more questions.
Okay, sir.
One, many people are asking that if they don't want to do PhD, then what they should do? Can you have any light on that? Well, I should stop in presentation. We will continue. We'll continue the discussion. No issues. You go to the last page of the presentation where the contacts, because they can write down the contacts. Well, these are the contacts. We'll be having this page open in front of you, and we'll be discussing more. So, well, these
Sir,
are your email IDs. So, Pritam, is there? Do
I
you
want
take?
to say something, because my email ID is written there is wrong. It's Tutan, not last part, July. It's
So,
Pritam dot
didn't
dash.
you start? Didn't you just watch
I
that
have
time? I sent you this before. I sent you
not that
before.
July. This is, I'm saying that's why it's Pritam dot dash dot Tutan @gmail.com. There is no dot and July. So that is the only thing I
You
think.
should have checked properly, Pritam. That is the mistake.
Yeah, sorry for that. Right now I'm just, I have just,
Well, we cannot blur this. You just what you can do is you stop that presentation and in a video editor, in some editor, you just check this. Yes, yes, yes. This is Adobe, man. You should have used Firefox. It's Firefox, Foxit Reader. This is Adobe Reader. There is an editor there. There is an editor there, Pritam. Not here, not here. You just click on the and the right side, above right. Not here. Left. Not here, Pritam. Yeah.
okay,
Next, yeah, yes.
what's happening? Adobe Reader is not responding.
So I asked you not to use Adobe Reader. So student, be patient. Just 1 minute. 1 minute. We'll be coming. We'll be coming. Just I want to delete this July.
Yeah.
I asked you not to use this.
Sorry.
I am not that familiar with Adobe. And
So I'm just asking them. It will
Pritam, this
not
is
be.
not that easy. This will be visible, right? Every time people won't listen to every words you speak. Rather, people will see what is written here. Man, you just need to blur this somehow. You are putting a text. It is wrong way. Highlight or blur or cross or introduce a blank thing somehow. If you are using Adobe, you should have be a little bit familiar with this. This don't work. This won't work.
Close it then.
That is a clear mistake. You cross it with the red somehow. Delete it. It is not that easy. Well, leave it. People will
Yeah, okay.
mail.
I'll create an account in this email ID. It's fine.
So that is a big mistake. People, I think 200 people will mail to this wrong email ID.
Wait then.
You should have checked. I sent you yesterday. I asked you to check.
এটা কি দিয়েছিলাম
At least the
এইটাই
contact part.
এখন কি এটা এখন ভিজুয়াল হচ্ছে
Okay, let it. Well, fine, fine, fine. Well, we continue it. Continue it. Otherwise, every people will leave us.
ওকে ওকে ওকে
Well,
ক্যান ইউ সি
we
দিস
will continue the discussion. To continue the discussion, thanks for the suggestions, but I could not read the suggestions simultaneously when I was asking, talking to Pritam and watching his presentation. So no issues. Okay. So the thing is, well, fine. The continue, Pritam. Please continue. So what?
there's a mistake I'm so sorry for that to everyone so
But my
that is
my email ID is now covered by your presentation.
okay okay then I think this is fine they can see ki there will be the thing ki denoting this ki the email ID is this so
Well,
that
that PDF,
that is
leave it, Pritam,
okay
leave it. Well, fine. So the other contacts are okay. Other contacts are everything okay. My email ID is okay. So you asking if your email to both of us, email to both of us, no issues.
even
Pritam,
if
the next question is the next question is how much you feel that gap matters. 2 3 years, 4 years gap people might have. Then in the selection, how does some gaps matter? So can you have some idea on that gap?
okay so first of all sorry I should say sorry for the mistake and you can see that is the email ID and then coming to the question. According to me, the gap doesn't matter. If you are cracking the exams, if you have good ranks, if you are cracking the interviews, if you answer those questions well, if you have concept, that is the most important thing. They basically look for or they basically see in you. And I have some friends even in TIFR. They have a job. They have a gap for 5 or 6 years for their jobs, but they are still getting selected in TIFR. That is one of the most renowned institute in India. So that is not a big deal. I don't think so. That is the thing. People, even I myself have a gap of 1 year. Last 1 year, I'm doing preparation for this gates and interviews and all. So that I don't think so. Gap doesn't matter. That it does matter. So it's not a thing. If you have the concept, if you have cleared those exams, if you have, if you can present well in your interviews, then it's all matters. Gap doesn't matter. But yeah, one thing is important. If you have a gap, they will ask you what you have been doing since then. So you should have a proper answer. What you are doing. Maybe what basically they look for is you are doing an project and all. But I myself have not done any project during this 1 year. So I don't see. But I have been getting selected in all the institutes like TIFR, IISc and all. So I don't think so. It matters a lot. So that is the answer to this question.
Pritam, another question is few people might don't prefer to do a PhD after masters, but still ask a physics career for that. So what I want career I definitely know, and I that which is a scientific officer. This is not
Yeah.
exactly like a PhD. It is a scientific officer. Will be taking one scientific officer to you in Sunday. He will be speaking about the BRC, OCGS, DGFS exams and how is the life as a scientific officer there. So that we'll discuss in Sunday. That is not I'm asking you. What I am asking you is rather other than a scientific officer, you had many friends in IIT Kanpur. So did they do something else? There will be some friends of yours which after masters they choose a different path of career, but somehow related to physics, but not related to PhD or not related to a scientific officer. Is there any way? Few people are asking, and I will be also interested to know this. And many will over Pritam.
So basically, I don't have much friends. Basically, all of them mostly doing PhDs, in different institutes, and if not, then they're basically preparing for they're doing the B.Ed. Some of them doing B.Eds for getting chance in school and all. So that is the thing. And as I mentioned, there are BARC exam, there are DRDO. If you are good in if your good gate score is good, then you make chance in there. So that is the only thing, except PhD or
You
teaching
you you
profession.
didn't appear in DRDO or ONGC, right? Did you?
Now, still now, the things are not. The interviews has not been, you know. Basically, the interviews was not done actually. I mean, I have applied for BARC, but the result is not out still now due to this pandemic situation. And DRDO I have applied, but I'll not go as I got my dream place
Okay,
in
okay,
DRDO.
okay, okay, okay. Fine, fine, fine. So, as of we didn't tell you a much different type of career options other than PhD or scientific officer. We are sorry for that. So, if you people find, then you can email us, or so that we can email everybody participants that if there are any other type of careers you can choose. So, we'll just look for some more questions if somebody is asking. Well, I forgot to mention. Everybody, many people are asking about the study schedule. भाई कितने घंटे पढ़े थे कैसे शेड्यूल बनाए थे so did you have any special answer of that schedule kind of thing that what else after your masters you passed your MSc thereafter did you have any special study schedule timings how much कितने घंटे पढ़े थे can you little bit elaborate
मैं ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि मैंने इतना घंटा पढ़ा था, बट जितना तुम्हें मतलब हाउ मच यू कैन यू जस्ट गो फॉर दैट थिंग. If you are doing with some love and affection towards the subject, then you can read much longer. And then I have not scheduled like I have to study from this to this. Basically, whenever I woke up, I like after my bed tea, I like to study. So that is the only thing. It is not some scheduled as you. If someone knows me personally, they know how much I do things other than studying. So there are so many things I do. So studying is not the only thing, but but you should study at least let's say 6 or 8 hours per day, solving problems, doing the previous works, previous things you have studied before, but you have forgotten those things. To just to go through that thing once, and minimum 10 hours or 8 to 10 hours you should read daily. If not daily, then at least in a week, 6 days you should read, as I did. Not more than that. But it depends on you actually. How much
Pritam, one question is some many of people asking that can we leave one two topics say you have appeared so many interviews and so many theory exams and qualified say somebody is asking that if they want to leave one topic say they don't want to study in classical mechanics or they don't want to study say EM theory or they don't like nuclear particle so depending on the weightage thinking about the weightage of the topics in every exam so can one student leave one topic I typically answered that you can leave one topic at most one topic so what is your view on that
basically, sir, what I did is went through most of the topics, and I didn't secluded key. I don't want to read that topic. I personally went through all the topics, how much I can. But if someone want to, then they can leave the topic. Like, I think everything is important. How can I say it's not important? But I would say topics, like, you should go through the basics of all the topics, because in these sessions the questions will be asked to you is from very basic. So I will suggest you go through basics of all the topics. But if you cannot go up with the higher things, like that is basically covered up in MSc, most of the topics that is higher. So you can leave those topics only. But basic, like every topic you should know. You cannot leave. You cannot say you can leave electronics, or you can leave nuclear or particle. It's not the thing. You should have the basic idea of everything, because may you can नहीं मतलब तुम इन एग्जाम से वो चीज से साइड लेके जा सकते हो, but if in
Pritam,
case of in case of in case of
English.
exam, you can
Pritam, English.
yeah, yeah, I'm saying in English. So in case of exams, theory exam, it's fine if you are looking at some topic, but in case of interview, you don't know from what topic you will be asked actually. So basic of every topic you should know. I'll suggest basic you should know. You can't leave any topic actually.
Pritam, people will be asking many questions, but we cannot continue infinitely. So, what I ask everybody, every one of you, that whatever question you have, you email either him or me. We got the correct ID there. We did a mistake. So
Otherwise,
you can email me. My email ID is there. Little bit different. This is not a Gmail. This is a institutional mail type of thing from my own institute, self formed. So, well, this is a different mail, but you can email me there. So, no issue. I will be forwarding your question to him, or you can directly email him, but not that in July. That correct mail ID is written in the right side. So, I'll be asking you to join all these our YouTube channel, our page, our group or our telegram channel, every mode of communication we have. So you attached with us, so that will be great. So finally, Pritam, I will be showing my face right now. So that presentation will end. So finally, we'll be ending here. So what actually we had a very good session. So what we learned is, don't be fearful, just study well, study basics textbooks, don't run from here and there, don't run from one notes to another notes, have faith in yourself. That is one cracks. Other is, a project is important, but if you don't have project, then don't worry. But if you have a good project, if you have done project, then understand the basic whatever you did in your project, that you understand. And you don't worry about whatever written as presentation will be emailed, no issues. And someone is asking, they are not registered for the webinar, so the registration form is still open. So you can register till for that. If you have got this YouTube link somehow and didn't register from the Google form, you can register there in the Google form. So I will be taking this email IDs also later, so that is not a problem. And there could be many issues to be discussed. So for the DRDO and DAE institutes BRC exam, you will be having another webinar on Sunday 6 p.m. So you don't need to register again for that webinar. I will be once you have registered for one webinar, then you will get link for all webinars which I will organize. So I will give you a post. I will give a Facebook post also, and we will email you also about that. So once you have registered, I got your email ID. You understand? I got your email ID, so I'll be emailing you the YouTube links, just like I emailed this. So if you will be interested for that, he's a scientific officer, senior from me also. So he will be under discussing with you about the research life and actual working condition, and how to get selected in all the DAE institute through BRC exam. I talked to him and he has agreed with me. So that poster will be sent to you. So that is not an issue. So finally, you can have Pritam anytime. You can email him. We'll be discussing more on that. So and finally, there will be lots of questions about MSc projects and etc. So you can ask Pritam anytime about your specific problems of that. So the links was written on that presentation page, all the links will be written in this YouTube video description. So after this live ends, so video will be uploaded in the YouTube with the same link. So you will find the description also, and if you do not find, again you can email anytime to us, not a problem. And this video will remain, don't worry, this video will be remaining in YouTube. to every one of you watch, and your friends, or you, if you could not watch from the beginning or if you missed something, then not a problem, and the video will be here. So finally I will be thanking you. I will be thanking every one of you who did participated in this webinar. So as a host, so I have seen that at least 700 to 800 people have come and watched partly. I don't know exactly how many of you watched from beginning to the end, but from the views I can estimate that 600 to 800 people were there. Almost they have came at least once, 800 to 900 people. So that is a very grand success to this webinar, I can say. And thanks to Pritam that he told very nice discussions from beginning to the end. So we'll be having Pritam later also for some specific subject or some specific topics or some specific parts. So this was a general webinar. So if you want to, you will be discussing later about the feasibility of the specific topics, say how to solve classical mechanics problem, how to approach graphs, how to do complex variable integration, how to study solid state physics kind of thing, or how to study laser, blah blah blah, electronics basics, this things. We can think about this. Not only Pritam, there will be many or students also will be interested, or somehow the professors also we can ask. So after this feedback from this webinar, we will be thinking about discussing all these things. So finally we end this. So I will be just final thank will be given to you by Pritam. So from my side, my face, that is the last time you are, so will be seeing my face in this webinar. So final thank will be given by Pritam. So Pritam, over to
Yeah,
you.
yes, sir. So I want to thank you all for being there and listening to me. It was not a GAN, just a basic experience I have gained during my interviews and during last 1 year I'm been preparing for. So thank you all for being there, and thank you, sir, for having me and asking me to give the seminar. And I was literally frightened, but I think you guys are really helpful, and I'm really thankful to you. And if there is any mistake, I'm sorry for that and I apologize for that. But thank you so much. Thank you for having